The main monitoring chamber of the Galactic Council's communication hub was usually a quiet place. Today, it erupted into chaos. "Sir, we've lost all signals from Earth sector." Officer Green's hands flew across his control panel, his face lit by the red warning lights flashing across every screen. Complete blackout. Every frequency, every channel, gone. Director White looked up from his morning reports, his copper-colored eyes narrowing. In 30 years of watching over galactic communications, he had never seen a Class 1 civilization go dark without warning. Run a diagnostic. Maybe it's our systems. But it wasn't their systems. Over the next hour, reports flooded in from across the galaxy. Trade ships couldn't contact their Earth ports. Educational exchanges went silent. Even the quantum-encrypted diplomatic channels, designed to work through any disaster, had gone dead. The council chamber, with its towering crystal walls and hovering seats for 100 different species, filled quickly. Beings of all shapes and sizes gathered, some with multiple arms, others floating in containment fields, and a few that were merely clouds of intelligent gas. They all shared the same worried expression. Order. We must have order. Council President Jones banged his gravity hammer, sending ripples through the chamber's artificial atmosphere. His gray scales flickered with stress patterns. "We have called this emergency session to address the Earth situation." The Earth ambassador's seat sat empty, the first time in 50 years. "Earth has been a member of this council for 5 decades, Jones continued. "They have been difficult at times, but reliable. This silence is unprecedented." A tall, blue-skinned figure stood up. Admiral Blue commanded the Council's monitoring fleet. "The last transmission we received was unusual. A simple text message. Implementation beginning. Good luck, everyone." Then nothing. Murmurs spread through the chamber. Earth was young by galactic standards, but they had become important quickly. They supplied rare minerals, unique art, and solutions to problems that had stumped older races for centuries. Their loss would affect everyone. "What about the orbital stations?" someone asked. "Silent," Blue replied. "The lunar colonies, the Mars settlements, all quiet. But our long-range scans show they're intact. There's no sign of attack or natural disaster." A small rabbit-like being hopped onto its platform. "Perhaps they're hiding from something. The humans always were. Paranoid. Or preparing for something," another voice added darkly. Director White stepped forward to address the council. "We've checked every possibility. Their planetary internet has gone dark. Their satellites are inactive. Even their regular television and radio broadcasts have stopped. It's as if someone simply turned off the entire planet." The chamber erupted again. Some demanded immediate military action. Others called for patience. A few suggested Earth had finally destroyed itself, as many had predicted. President Jones raised his hammer again. "We cannot act without information. Admiral Blue, prepare your fastest ships. We need eyes on Earth immediately." As the chamber cleared, Director White stayed behind, staring at the latest sensor readings. Something caught his eye. A pattern in the silence. Earth hadn't gone dark all at once. There had been a sequence, almost too fast to notice, like someone closing doors one by one. Back in his office, he pulled up Earth's recent history. The humans had been asking strange questions lately. About planetary shields, about mass power systems, about long-term underground habitation. Each request had seemed innocent alone. Together, White looked out his window at the glittering expanse of council space. Somewhere out there, Earth floated in silence. But was it the silence of death, or the silence of preparation? His computer chimed. A new message, the last data packet received from Earth before the blackout. He opened it. "To all our friends in the stars, don't worry. Everything is going according to plan." White felt a chill run down his spine. The humans had always been different. They looked at problems sideways. They did the unexpected. And now they had done something no one had ever seen before. They had turned off their entire world. The question wasn't whether they had a plan. The question was, what were they planning for? Admiral Blue stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Star Seeker, watching as Earth grew larger on the main screen. After 3 days of faster-than-light travel, his investigation fleet had finally reached the Sol system. "Status report," he ordered, his blue skin reflecting the soft glow of ship's instruments. "Sir, Mars colonies appear intact but powered down," reported Officer Reed. "Same with the lunar bases. No damage, just quiet." The fleet of 20 ships spread out around Earth's orbit. Everything looked normal from a distance. The blue oceans, white clouds, green and brown continents. But something was different. "Where are all the satellites?" Lieutenant Gray asked, checking her scanners again. Earth had thousands of them. She was right. The usual cloud of communications satellites, space stations, and orbital platforms was gone. Earth's orbit was clean, empty. "Sir," Reed's voice rose with excitement. "Energy readings from the surface. They're massive, but strange. Like nothing in our database." Blue moved closer to the display. Earth's atmosphere was acting oddly, showing patterns that shouldn't be possible. "Send out the probe drones. I want close-up scans of every major city." The drones launched, small silver dots against Earth's blue backdrop. As they descended toward the atmosphere, something unexpected happened. 3 of them simply disappeared. "What just happened?" Blue demanded. "Unknown, sir," Reed replied, checking his instruments. "No explosion, no debris. They just vanished." Blue felt his scales tingle. In all his years of space exploration, he'd never seen anything like this. Pull the remaining drones back. Full sensor sweep of the vanishing points. The results made no sense. The areas where the drones disappeared showed no energy readings, no force fields, nothing. It was as if pieces of space had simply decided to stop existing. "Sir, incoming transmission from command," Gray announced. The holographic image of Director White appeared in the center of the bridge. "Admiral, we've detected something concerning. The swarm has changed course. They're heading toward Sol's system." Blue felt his heart sink. The swarm, a massive fleet of planet-destroying ships that had been moving through the galaxy for centuries. They consumed everything in their path, and no civilization had ever successfully fought them off. "How long?" he asked. 2 weeks at most," White replied. "Has your investigation revealed anything?" Blue looked at Earth again. "Something's happening down there, Director. The humans have done something. We can't get close to the surface. Probes disappear. Sensors give impossible readings. Keep watching," White ordered. "But maintain safe distance. If Earth has fallen, we can't risk losing the fleet." After the transmission ended, Blue walked to the observation window. From here, Earth looked peaceful. But the more he studied it, the more little things stood out. The weather patterns weren't moving naturally. The night side of the planet showed no city lights. And sometimes, just sometimes, he thought he saw something ripple across the surface, like waves on a pond. "Sir," Gray called out softly, "I've been analyzing the atmospheric data. The air is clean." "What do you mean?" "Too clean. Earth had pollution, factories, normal civilization activities. Now, nothing. The air is perfectly clean, like it's being filtered." Blue thought about this, as if something is cleaning it, or protecting it, Gray suggested. A junior officer rushed onto the bridge. "Admiral, we found something in old Earth transmissions. Just before they went silent, there was a huge increase in underground construction. New tunnels, massive chambers, huge power systems. They went underground," Blue whispered. "All of them." The bridge crew fell silent as the implications sank in. Moving an entire civilization underground would take incredible planning, resources, and cooperation. No species had ever attempted anything like it. "Orders, sir?" Reed asked. Blue watched another ripple pass across Earth's surface. The humans knew something they hadn't shared. They had prepared for something in secret. And now the swarm was coming. "We wait," he said finally. "And we watch. Because whatever the humans are planning, I have a feeling we're about to see something unprecedented." In the darkness of space, Earth continued its silent orbit, keeping its secrets behind whatever invisible shield the humans had created. The real question was, what would happen when the swarm arrived? Director White sat in his private office aboard the Central Archive Station, reviewing Earth's first contact footage from 50 years ago. The old holographic recording flickered to life, showing a much younger President Jones speaking to Earth's leaders. "Your civilization has reached the stars," Jones had said, his scales gleaming with excitement. "Welcome to the Galactic Council." The humans in the recording looked so simple then. They had just discovered faster-than-light travel. Their technology was basic. Their questions were endless. But something about those questions had always bothered White. He played another recording, this one from 10 years after first contact. A human scientist stood before the council, pointing at diagrams. The traditional engine design could be improved, the scientist had said. Why not try it this way? His suggestion had shocked everyone. It worked better than thousand-year-old designs. That was when the older races started watching Earth more carefully. "Computer, show me Earth's technology requests from the last 5 years, White ordered. The screen filled with data. Humans had asked about everything. Shield technology, underground farming, air filtration, power generation. Each request seemed random, unconnected. But they weren't random at all. "Show me classified reports about the swarm," he said next. A new set of files appeared. 3 years ago, Earth's deep space sensors had detected the swarm's approach. The Council had voted to keep it secret from Earth. They were too young, too unprepared. But somehow, the humans had known anyway. White remembered the Council meeting where Earth had asked for advanced weapons. "We need to improve our defenses," Ambassador Miller had said. The Council had refused. "You're too young," they said. "These weapons are too dangerous." The humans had nodded, accepted the decision quietly. Too quietly. White pulled up another recording, this one from an Earth entertainment channel. It was a story about ants protecting their nest from a flood. The ants had worked together, building structures, moving their entire colony to safety. Humans love their nature documentaries, his assistant had said at the time. Now White understood. The humans hadn't been watching animals. They had been finding solutions. He checked Earth's construction records. In the last 3 years, they had built more underground tunnels than some species build in centuries. Their power usage had slowly increased, but so smoothly that nobody noticed. "Computer, show me Earth's weather patterns from the last year." The data revealed small changes, tiny adjustments. The humans had been testing something, hiding it in natural weather variations. A message appeared on his screen. Admiral Blue wanted to talk. "Director, Blue's hologram appeared. We found something interesting. Earth's moon has changed position." "What do you mean?" "Slightly. Very slightly. As if they used it to test something big. Something that could move a moon." White felt a chill. The humans had always approached problems differently. When the Council said, "Build better guns," humans invented shields instead. When others said, "Fight harder," humans found ways to avoid fighting. He remembered a conversation with Ambassador Miller last year. "Sometimes the best defense isn't what you can build," Miller had said, "but what others don't know you've built." White looked at Earth's image on his screen. No signs of panic. No chaos. No rushed evacuation. Everything they had done was planned, organized, and hidden in plain sight. "Admiral," White said, "I think we've been underestimating the humans. They didn't just go silent. They didn't just hide. What did they do? They turned their entire planet into something new, something we've never seen before." White looked at the latest scans. "And they did it while we were watching." "But why?" Blue asked. Because they knew something was coming. And when the council wouldn't help, White paused. They helped themselves. In the quiet of his office, White thought about all the times the council had called humans young and primitive. Now he wondered who were really the primitive ones. Because somewhere on that silent planet, behind whatever incredible shield they had built, the humans were waiting. And White had a feeling they weren't hiding in fear. They were preparing to fight. The council chamber erupted into chaos. Red-skinned General Claw slammed his fist on the podium, his voice booming across the room. Earth is defenseless. We should take control now, before someone else does. His warrior race had always seen Earth as a prize waiting to be claimed. Control what? Trade Master Gold asked, his crystalline form glittering with worry patterns. The planet's sealed off. We can't even get close to it. The Trade Federation was already feeling Earth's absence. Prices for rare Earth metals had tripled in just 1 week. President Jones watched the argument with growing concern. The emergency meeting had been going for 6 hours, and things were getting worse. The humans are planning something dangerous, General Claw continued. They have no right to such secrecy. An elderly science master stood up slowly, her gray robes flowing in the artificial gravity. No right? Like we had no right to hide the swarm's approach from them. The chamber went quiet. Few knew about that decision. How did you know about that? Jones demanded. The humans told me, she replied simply. Last year. They knew we were keeping secrets, but instead of getting angry, they asked me about underground gardens, about growing food without sunlight. She smiled sadly. I thought they were planning space colonies. New images appeared on the chamber's main screen. Satellite photos of Earth from the past year. They showed massive construction sites, all carefully hidden under normal-looking buildings and parks. Look at the scale of this. Admiral Blue's voice came through the communication link. They turned their whole planet into something. And they did it without anyone noticing. Trade Master Gold moved closer to the images. Those aren't military bases. Those are survival structures. They were building shelters for everyone. General Claw laughed. Shelters won't stop the swarm. Nothing stops the swarm. Maybe that's not their plan. Director White said quietly. Everyone turned to look at him. The humans have never done things our way. When we said build up, they built down. When we said fight harder, they found ways to fight smarter. The science master nodded. They asked me about planetary shield technology last year. When I said it was impossible, they asked why. Their questions, they weren't trying to copy our technology. They were looking for new ways to use it. Suddenly, the chamber's sensors beeped urgently. New data was coming in from the Earth observation fleet. Energy readings are changing, Admiral Blue reported. The whole planet. It's like it's breathing. They watched as waves of something rippled across Earth's surface. The readings made no sense. Power levels that should have been impossible, yet somehow stable. They've turned their whole planet into a weapon, General Claw whispered, actual fear in his voice for the first time. No, Director White corrected. They've turned it into a shield. A fortress. They're not planning to attack anyone. Then what are they planning? Jones asked. Before anyone could answer, another alarm sounded. The swarm had just entered the outer solar system, moving faster than expected. 2 weeks had become 2 days. The chamber erupted again. Some demanded immediate evacuation of the observation fleet. Others wanted to send military support. A few suggested using the chaos to take control of Earth's orbital space. President Jones raised his gravity hammer, restoring order. We have 2 choices, he said. We can either trust that the humans know what they're doing, or we can interfere and maybe doom us all. And if they fail, General Claw demanded, if the swarm breaks through whatever they've built, then we'll face the same enemy we've always feared, the science master said. But if they succeed, she left the thought unfinished. In the silence that followed, they all watched the main screen. Earth hung there, quiet and mysterious, ripples of unknown energy washing across its surface. For the first time in galactic history, everyone was about to see what humans could really do when they worked together. And perhaps why letting them find their own solutions might have been the wisest choice after all. They came like a dark cloud blocking out the stars. The swarm's ships filled the space between Neptune and Uranus. Thousands of black, organic-looking vessels moving as one mind. Admiral Blue watched from his command ship, keeping his fleet at a safe distance. Behind him, Earth continued its silent orbit, those strange energy waves still rippling across its surface. Swarm vessels are larger than previous encounters, Officer Reed reported, his voice shaking slightly. Main ship it's twice the size of anything in our records. The massive swarm mothership looked like a twisted mountain of dark metal. Smaller ships swarmed around it like angry insects, their movements perfectly coordinated. Any response from Earth? Blue asked, knowing the answer already. Nothing, sir. Same silence. Director White's hologram appeared on the bridge. Admiral, the Council has ordered all observation ships to fall back beyond Mars orbit. We can't risk losing your fleet. Blue nodded, but didn't move his ship. With respect, Director, I'd like to stay and witness what happens. The humans, they didn't do all this for nothing. White was quiet for a moment. Approved. But keep your distance. The swarm moved faster through the solar system than anyone expected. They ignored the observation fleet completely. Earth was their target. It always had been. Sir, Gray called out. The swarm is broadcasting their usual message. The ancient, terrible message played through the ship's speakers. Your civilization is obsolete. Your resources will be consumed. Resistance is inefficient. The same message they had sent to every world they had destroyed. No one had ever sent a message back. Until now. Signal from Earth. Reed shouted suddenly. Text only. The message was simple. We respectfully disagree. The bridge crew watched in stunned silence as the swarm approached Earth. Their ships filled the sky above the planet, casting shadows that could be seen from millions of miles away. They're moving into attack formation, Gray reported. Energy readings from their weapons are off the charts. Blue gripped his command chair tightly. This was the moment. Either humanity had built something miraculous, or they were about to watch Earth die. The swarm attacked all at once. Thousands of energy beams struck Earth's atmosphere simultaneously, enough power to crack a planet's crust. But something strange happened. The beams didn't hit the surface. They didn't even reach the upper atmosphere. Instead, they hit something else. Something invisible but incredibly real. Impossible, Reed whispered, checking his readings. The energy, it's being absorbed. All of it. The ripples across Earth's surface grew stronger, more visible. They weren't random patterns. They were waves of power, spreading out from thousands of points across the planet. The swarm attacked again, this time with physical weapons. Missiles and projectiles that could punch holes through mountains. They vanished, simply ceased to exist about 10 miles above Earth's surface. The whole planet, Blue realized suddenly. They turned the whole planet into a defense system. The swarm's mothership moved closer, charging its main weapon, a beam that could split the planet in half. No civilization had ever survived a direct hit. The beam fired. For a moment, Earth was hidden behind a blaze of light brighter than its sun. When it faded, everyone expected to see a broken world. Instead, they saw something that would change galactic history forever. Earth was untouched, more than untouched. It was glowing. The energy ripples had turned into a visible shell around the planet, a shield made of pure power. And it was getting brighter. Sir, Gray said softly, I don't think that's just a shield. She was right. The humans hadn't just built a way to survive the swarm's attack. They had built a way to fight back. As the shell of energy grew brighter, Admiral Blue sent a quick message to the Council. Stay alert. I believe we're about to see why humans always asked such strange questions about power systems. In space, the swarm ships began to gather for another attack. On Earth's surface, the greatest surprise in galactic history was about to be revealed. The energy shell around Earth pulsed once, twice, and then split into thousands of geometric patterns. Like pieces of a giant puzzle, sections of the planet's surface began to move. Admiral Blue and his crew watched in amazement as the ground itself opened up. Mountains shifted, oceans parted. The planet they thought they knew transformed before their eyes. "By the stars," Officer Reed whispered, "those aren't continents. They're doors." From beneath Earth's surface, massive structures emerged. Towers larger than cities rose into the sky. Platforms the size of small countries lifted up. Weapons unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen took position. "Sir," Lieutenant Gray called out, "I'm detecting millions of human life signs. They're inside those structures." The swarm attacked again, throwing everything they had at this new threat. But now the humans were ready to hit back. The towers lit up with power. Beams of pure energy shot out, not just blocking the swarm's weapons, but reaching out to touch their ships. Wherever that energy touched, swarm vessels simply stopped existing. "Analysis," Blue demanded. It's like they created holes in space itself," Reed reported, his instruments struggling to make sense of what they were seeing. "The swarm ships aren't being destroyed. They're being removed from reality." The swarm mothership launched its planet killer beam again. This time, one of Earth's platforms moved to intercept it. The beam struck the platform's surface and bounced back, amplified. The reflected beam cut through 50 swarm ships before they could react. "Message from Earth," Gray announced. Audio this time. A calm human voice filled the bridge. "To all observing forces, please maintain safe distance. Phase 2 beginning." Phase 2. Blue wondered aloud. His question was answered as the structures around Earth began to move. They weren't just weapons platforms or defense towers. They were engines. The entire planet shifted in its orbit. "Impossible," someone whispered, but they were watching it happen. Earth moved like a ship under power, its new structures working together to drive a planet through space. It turned to face the swarm directly. The swarm, for the first time in known history, began to retreat. They weren't fast enough. Earth's surface opened up again, revealing what looked like a giant lens made of pure energy. Power flowed into it from all the surrounding structures. "Energy readings are beyond anything our instruments can measure," Reed reported. They turned their whole planet into a weapon, Blue realized. Not just the surface. Everything. All those underground constructions, all those power systems. The lens flared with light. A beam wider than a continent shot out, cutting through space itself. Where it touched the swarm fleet, ships simply vanished. Not destroyed. Erased. The swarm mothership tried to jump to faster than light speed. The beam caught it halfway through the jump. The resulting explosion lit up the solar system brighter than its sun. When the light faded, the swarm was gone. Not defeated. Eliminated. As if they had never been there at all. Earth's structures began to fold back into themselves. The towers lowered. The platforms sank. The lens powered down. A new message played across all channels, this time with video. Ambassador Miller stood in what looked like a massive control room, surrounded by technology no one had ever seen before. "We apologize for our sudden silence," he said with a small smile. "We needed complete secrecy to prepare our surprise. The swarm is gone. Not just here. The beam erased them across all realities. They won't be threatening anyone, ever again." He paused, then added, "We would be happy to resume normal relations with the Council, though perhaps this time, as equals." Admiral Blue looked at his crew, then at the now normal-looking Earth. The humans had done the impossible. They had turned their entire planet into both a shelter and a weapon. They had worked together in complete secrecy to save not just themselves, but everyone. Send word to the council, he ordered. Tell them the humans just changed everything. And Earth, having revealed its true power, continued its quiet orbit around the sun, as if nothing unusual had happened at all. 1 month after the swarm's defeat, the Galactic Council chamber looked very different. The floating seats had been rearranged. Earth's section now held a position of honor, equal to the oldest races. Ambassador Miller stood at the central podium, explaining what humanity had achieved. Behind him, holographic displays showed the incredible transformation Earth had undergone. It began 3 years ago, Miller said, when we first detected the swarm. We knew asking for weapons wouldn't work, so we asked different questions instead. The display showed Earth's underground cities, stretching deep into the planet's crust. Comfortable homes, farms, and parks all hidden beneath the surface. Millions of people had lived there while helping to build the planetary defense system. Every question we asked the council had a purpose, he continued. When we asked about gardens, we were learning to feed our people underground. When we asked about weather control, we were testing our energy shield's effects on the atmosphere. President Jones leaned forward, his scales showing patterns of respect. But how did you build such advanced technology without anyone noticing? Miller smiled. We didn't build advanced technology. We built simple technology, just differently. When you said planetary shields were impossible, we didn't try to make one shield. We made millions of small ones and linked them together. When you said a planet couldn't be moved, we didn't build one big engine. We built thousands of small ones working together. Director White nodded slowly. You took basic principles and used them in ways no one had considered. Exactly, Miller agreed. Humans are good at that. We look at problems sideways. We find unexpected solutions. The chamber's main screen showed the massive lens that had erased the swarm. This wasn't a super weapon, Miller explained. It was millions of small energy projectors working as one, like turning millions of tiny flashlights into a laser. General Claw, who had once demanded to take control of Earth, stood up. And the secrecy, the silence. We needed the swarm to think we were helpless, Miller replied. If they had known what we were building, they would have attacked before we were ready. Sometimes, appearing weak is the strongest strategy. The science master, who had helped answer many of Earth's strange questions, spoke next. Will you share this technology with others? Of course, Miller said, but not as weapons. We designed everything to protect and defend. The same systems that powered our planetary shield can provide clean energy to entire worlds. The underground cities can help planets survive natural disasters. The space-folding technology can improve faster than light travel. Trademaster Gold's crystalline form sparkled with excitement. You're offering to help everyone. That's what humans do, Miller smiled. We solve problems, not just for ourselves, but for everyone. That's why we worked so hard to save all of you from the swarm, not just ourselves. President Jones stood, his gravity hammer raised. I call for a vote. Earth has proven itself not just technologically advanced, but morally worthy. I propose they be granted full elder race status, with all rights and responsibilities. The vote was unanimous. As the chamber celebrated, Admiral Blue spoke quietly with Director White in a corner. Did you ever imagine, Blue asked, when we first met humans 50 years ago, that they would achieve something like this? White watched Miller talking with other council members, sharing ideas, making plans to help other worlds. I think we all made the same mistake, he said. We thought being young meant being primitive. We didn't realize that sometimes young eyes see solutions that old eyes miss. On the main screen, Earth spun peacefully, looking exactly as it had for millions of years. But now everyone knew its secret. Inside that simple-looking planet was the most advanced defense system ever created, built by a species that had turned its greatest weakness, being young and inexperienced, into its greatest strength. And in the years that followed, as humanity shared its innovations with the galaxy, One thing became very clear. Sometimes, the quietest voices have the most important things to say. The galaxy would never be the same. And that was exactly what humanity had planned all along.